Meeting to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, presented by students from Grand Star Elementary. All right, before we get started, I want to take a second to recognize Julie Aldridge and welcome her to the board. This is her first meeting. And then also point out that we're missing Jeff Miller, but I believe he's on the phone. So we're on.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. We're on to 1.3, approval of agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Jeff, how do you vote?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Okay.
All right, 2.1, presentation by students from Grand Star Elementary.
Grand Star students. These students are part of our Timberwolf Leadership Council. Whoa. And we'll tell you how giving help and receiving help is part of who we are every day at Grand Star Elementary. Please help me welcome them.
Good evening. My name is Stella Stewart, and I'm a fourth grader at Grand Star Elementary. We are all on our Timberwolf Leadership Council called TLC.
Hello, my name is Grace Redding, and I am also a fourth grader.
My name is April Escovel, and I'm in fourth grade.
My name's Jensen Sudert, and I'm in third grade.
I'm Benny Smith. I am in third grade. I am Cole Kavasim, and I am also in third grade.
Tonight we want to share how students at Grand Star Elementary give help and receive help.
At Grand Star, we learn that everyone needs help sometimes and that it's okay to ask for help when we need support with our behavior or feelings. We have BIST coaching to help us learn life skills. Older students and teachers help with coaching at Grand Star.
Our teachers are always there to help us. They help us learn and solve problems and work through big feelings. We have learned that accepting help from our teachers help us grow.
Students at Grand Star also help each other every day. We help by making contributions to our school, by delivering notes to the office, cleaning up in our classrooms and the lunchroom, sharpening pencils, helping classmates with their work, and being kind in the hallways and on the playground.
Older students also support younger students at our school. We show them expectations, we help them feel welcome, and encourage them to do their best. We help them count their Starbucks and read to them. Giving help and receiving help helps us feel safe, supportive, and ready to learn. Helping hands, shining hearts, it's the Grand Star way.
So first of all, I want to thank you for supporting our school. And I just want to share quickly a few pictures on how we help at Grand Star. So one of the things that our older students are doing is with BISC, Behavior Intervention Support Teams, is a lot of our older students go with the first, second, even kindergarten to help them with their missing skills and help them coaching. So that's one way that is, helps them portray themselves, and it's really received well by the younger students. Is, oh, here's an older student helping me with my missing skill. Gotta tell you, I've never seen so many kids that want to sweep the cafeteria before. The Grand Star Elementary is a great place to be, and we thank you very much, folks.
Let's get a picture, guys. Let's get a picture. Yeah, go get in there. Yeah, of course, for sure. Come on, get a front row seat.
And then wait for your candy bag.
All right, 2.2, presentation by Executive Director of the Gardner Edgerton Schools Foundation, Tim Brady.
Come on up, y'all. I've always heard when you make a presentation, never to follow cute kids, but I'll do my best. Hey, once again, we want to thank Dr. Huff for letting us address the board this evening and share some good news with you. And Julie, we want to give you a special welcome as well. And to all of our board members here tonight, we've got a special gift for you that's at your desk, a foundation t-shirt, because this is Board of Education Appreciation Month. So we wanted to make sure, thank you for holding that up. And anyway, hey, I've got some folks here with me that I want you to meet. These are three members of our board of directors. First, right here in the middle is Dr. Amy Kane. She's a professor at the Mid-American Nazarene University. This is Mariana Barnes. She is a second grade teacher at Gardner Elementary and a former Horizon Award winner. And my right hand, Cassie Medina is our secretary, but also provides some administrative support to the foundation. We also have some other ex officio members of our board here tonight. Dr. Huff is on our board. Dr. Booth is also, and then representing our Board of Education via telephone is Jeff Miller, all right? So we want to thank Jeff for his service as well. One reason we're here is just to really share our appreciation for the partnership that we have with the school district. And as I was preparing my remarks, I got to thinking, you know what? We're pretty much connected with every single department in the school district. So I want to share some of that with you. First, we're connected with the superintendent's office. One is this lady right over here, Deb Starling, who is great to answer any questions that we might have. She sets up meetings. But Dr. Huff, I want to give a special shout out to, because his door is always open. He allows me to ask questions. I can bounce ideas off of him. The guy gets it, and I appreciate that, Dr. Huff. Community Relations and Ed Services with Dr. Booth. He helps promote our events. I ask him the silliest technology questions in the world, and he always answers those for me, particularly on social media. Jason Jones is here. We team up with him regarding teacher orientation. Christy Witter and Heather Peak. It's hard to give them a shout out, but I'm going to. They help with our tall grant reviews. Tammy Mulholland and her team of social workers and counselors, we work closely with them on this disbursement of the We Care funds. We also work with Cinnamon Bowie, Tracy Platt, Dan Pollitt, and Jaylene Freeman. From special education, Shay Carter is great. Her team is super to work with. She also reviews our tall grants, and we have a lot of tall grants that go towards special education. Human resources, we work very closely with Dr. Marshall and his team of Mark Meyer, Amy Jackson, and Daphne Pippett. Once again, they help us with the new teacher stipends, stuff with the classified staff, our Thankful Thursday event, and Dr. Marshall is really one of our biggest cheerleaders. Business and finance. I cannot say enough about Amy Drogemeyer over here. She is so great to work with. She makes things happen without red tape, not a lot of hoops to jump through, and I appreciate that. We work hand in hand with our business and finance department with tall grant funding, employee payroll deduction, assisting with convocation fundraising, the Hall of Fame luncheon, and she also connects us with our various vendors that are potential partners for us. Nutrition services. They provide catering services for our meetings and also for our annual golf tournament. They've got great pricing, but even better food. Technology, Andy Price. He also reviews our tall grants that deal with technology, and his team of men are great. Whenever we have a technology issue, they're right on top of it. Operations, Mark DeWitt's over here. He allows us to use some outside storage for some of our stuff that we have. We borrow the box truck, reserve facilities through his department, and he also connects us with potential business partners. So those are just some examples of our partnership that we're so grateful for. So tonight we just want to tell you that, but also give you something to the board, particularly Dr. Huff, as a symbol of our appreciation, as a symbol of the teamwork that we have. There was an English poet who said one time, you can't produce honey with one bee in the hive. And really, we're all working together to provide for our students and staff in USD 231. On behalf of some of our board members that are here tonight and the rest of our board, it's truly a team process, a lot of collaboration, and we're glad just to be able to do that with each and every one of you. So, Dr. Huff, I understand that you played some college football, so I'm going to throw you a pass here. You ready? Here we go. All right. He's got Travis Kelce hands right there. We do want to do a photo op here with our board. Dr. Booth, we want you to be in this as well because you're on our board of directors. And if we can get the whole board up here for a picture, that would be great. So Alyssa, I think, is going to take a picture for us. The football says, Partners in Education, thank you for your support, and the logos of our two organizations are here together. So I'll stand here between our board president, our superintendent. Come on, let's get us around.
That will bring us to 3, organization of the Board of Education and appointments. 3.1, election of president. I open the floor for nominations for president for 2026.
I'd like to nominate Tom Redden to continue as our president. He's done a great job, so I would like to nominate Tom.
Second. I would also support Tom.
Oh, we need to raise our hands on this one.
Well, you need to actually close nominations.
Okay, close the nominations.
So now you're doing first and second.
All right, that will bring us to 3.2, election of vice president. I open the floor for nominations for vice president for 2026, and I would like to nominate Heath Freeman for vice president.
I'll second.
Any other nominations? Jeff, what's your vote?
No.
All right, Heath, you can move over here now. Leave the bundt cakes down there, though.
I told him I won't eat them.
Give you a minute.
Oh, yes. Yeah, announce, because the people who are watching might not be.
Thank you. All right, for anybody that can't see the board, those both passed. Give Heath just a second to get moved. All right, 3.3, board meeting dates for 2026, 2027. Everybody's had a chance to look at the calendar. I'll make a motion to approve the board meeting dates for 2026, 2027.
I'll second.
All right, 3.4, adding a special,
Wait a second. Has Jeff?
oh, I'm sorry, Jeff?
Yes.
Thank you.
3.4, adding a special BOE meeting April 27th, 2026 at 6 PM to have RSP in here to discuss the change of the district boundaries with the new elementary school coming.
I have a conflict. I need to water my plants. Says it on my calendar.
That's it.
If it's not on my calendar, it won't get fed.
I'd like to make a motion to add a special Board of Education meeting on April 27th, 2026 at 6 PM to set the priorities for attendance boundaries.
I'll second.
Jeff, are you still on here?
Yes. I'm a yes.
All right, that passed. We have nothing for 4. 5, hearing of requests and suggestions. 5.1, hearing of requests and suggestions of citizens and organizations presented by Heath Freeman.
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yep.
wrong one. We have 4 speakers tonight. If you guys could line up, we'll start with Bev Furlong, followed by Carrie Schmidt, Leslie Ron, and finished with Heather McIver.
Good Good evening. I'm Bev Furlong, and I teach CLIMB, which is a center-based preschool program for special education. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about some exciting things we have going on with communication in our CLIMB classroom. So most of our kids are, most of the students in CLIMB have communication differences, and they do not have, they don't use mouth words. That's what we say in preschool. Most of them have a need for an alternative communication. So we use AAC. Some of our kids are using signs. Some of our kids are using recorded buttons. Some of our kids are using a device. And tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about that communication and what's happening. When they are using a device, they have several buttons they have to go through to even say one word. So if they're trying to say even the word dog, they would have to tap on a button on the front screen, which takes them to another screen where they would have to pick between farm and pets. And then they would get to a third screen to say the word dog. So it takes a lot of patience and a lot of practice. And when they first get their devices, we give them lots of time to babble on it, which means they take it wherever they are and they play, they experiment with sounds that it makes, they experiment with all the layers of the buttons. And another piece that's very important to remember with AAC is even without the AAC, it's important to presume competence, and we work really hard at that in preschool. And one of the stories I have tonight is about a preschooler that is a good example of why you need to presume competence. So while preschoolers may not be able to use, or non-speakers may not be able to use mouth words, they do understand and take in a lot of information through tone, through gestures, through body language, all of that. They're taking in a lot of information, and that holds true for our students with and without intellectual and developmental disabilities. And the child I'm going to talk about tonight is a prime example of that. He'd been new to his AAC, and he'd been playing a lot, and he had a lot of favorite words. Most of them had to do with snacks, and especially sugary sweet snacks. And we were sitting at table time one day, and I gave a very specific direction. And just like all preschoolers, not everybody wants to follow the group plan. Sometimes they have their own agenda. And I had given a very specific direction, and he got his device and scrambled around, pushed 2 or 3 buttons, and came up with "she wishes." So there was competence for language. There was definitely competence for sarcasm. And it's just a fun way to share how important it is for us to assume the competence of our kids who are not verbal communicators. And our preschoolers okay, thank you. Our preschoolers do a great job of that. They are very patient with our non-mouth speaking students, and they're a good role model for the rest of us. They take a lot of time to be patient with students as they're learning to use their devices. Thank you.
Thank you, Bev. That'll bring up Carrie Schmidt, followed by Leslie Ron.
Dr. Huff, let's go over some of our recent email communications. Last Monday, I asked you, was a male using the female bathrooms at the high school from August to December of 2025? You responded the next day stating, this would be a violation of our policy and handled through our disciplinary process. We do not share student infractions with other parents unless there is a direct connection to another student. Now I'm going to share an email that one of your middle school principals sent to all the families at his school in September of 2025. He stated, yesterday afternoon while riding bus, a number, home from school, a student displayed a toy gun to several classmates. While the item was confirmed to be a toy, the behavior was concerning and understandably caused alarm. He then reassured parents that the bus driver reported the incident, the school admin investigated, the incident was reported to the Gardner Police Department, the parents were contacted, and appropriate disciplinary action was taken in accordance with district policy. That email completely contradicted the response you made to me last Tuesday, didn't it? I asked you a yes or no question about female safety, and you gave me that bullshit answer. So now I'm going to respond. So then I responded to your bullshit, asking, what did the high school do to protect my daughter from a male student using the female restrooms from August to December of 2025? Then later that day, I received an email from you stating, and this is a good one, due to the volume of messages you send, I will be responding to your questions on a weekly basis unless an issue requires a more immediate response. The emails you have sent can be addressed through this weekly communication format. Do you realize that you just minimized female safety in the bathrooms and locker rooms? You don't have a clue who all was violated because you don't have video footage from the entire first semester. You're trying to spin this to make it look like I'm the problem, but I didn't use the wrong bathrooms. You can try all you want to shift blame, gaslight, be deceitful, and evade from the topic, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the actual issue here is that you and the high school principal didn't do a damn thing to protect our girls from their privacy being violated on a daily basis. Then, when you knew that this boy intentionally violated the law and district policy, again, you kept it a secret from parents as if the boy is the victim. What the hell is wrong with you? I got my one email this week from you when I got off work today, and of course you did not answer all my questions. You told me that your plan after last year's infraction was to reiterate your expectations with students and staff about the use of restrooms and locker rooms. But when I asked some high schoolers this evening before I got here if they have ever been told anything like this, they said, no. So who's lying? Is it the students or is it you? Because my bet is on you right now. You need to make female bathrooms and locker rooms safe in this district. They need a safe space too. The females in this district shouldn't be an afterthought, and shame on you for making them that.
That will bring up
Yeah,
Leslie
stop
Ron,
hiding things from
finished off with Heather McIver.
Hello, my name is Leslie Ron. I've been talking a lot about physics. We're going to keep that up. Today we're going to talk about AP Physics 2 and why it's important that we continue to offer this class and build strong science department at our school. I'm going to speak mostly about what I know today, which is physics, but it's important to know that the same conversation applies to other advanced classes we offer at GEHS, like AP Calculus BC and AP Chemistry, among other classes. Unlike AP Physics 1 and General Physics, which are considered introductory courses, AP Physics 2 is equivalent to a second semester physics course in college. In a given year, I have between 25 and 50 students who take the first course, AP Physics 1. Here's where it gets interesting. Of those students who take AP Physics 1, some of them choose to take another year of physics their senior year, AP Physics 2. As you can imagine, this is not a course with a large number of students. I have 12 this year. I've had 10. The first year I offered it, I had 6. And I anticipate that next year I'll have something less than 12. While this class is technically an elective, in practice, the students who take this class are taking it because it's the next logical step in their academic career. If a student is a junior and is currently enrolled in AP Physics 1, well then AP 2 is the next class in the sequence that they should take. It covers content that they haven't been exposed to yet and prepares them for their post-secondary endeavors in a more complete way than if they had only taken AP 1. However, every year, I have students worried that this class will not be offered because of low enrollment. Every year, I have to reassure students that it's worth it to write this class down on their enrollment forms and count on it being offered. These students represent everything we value and promote at GEHS. In the past 4 years, I have taught this class. My AP Physics 2 students have included football, track and field, cross country, wrestling, and soccer players. I've had the leads in the school musicals, GEHS marching band members and drum majors, debate champions, Blazer ground staff, and NHS members. Last year, 2 of my students, one in each of my AP classes, scored the highest possible score on their respective AP tests, a 5. I am very appreciative of the school board, the district, and our school admin for allowing us to offer classes like this. I know decisions like this are hard to make about low enrollment classes, and I know it's a numbers game. But though the number of my AP Physics students is small, the magnitude of their success is unmatched. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. We will finish off with Heather McIver.
Good evening. Forgive me as I read. Mom brain makes me forget my own name sometimes. As mentioned, my name is Heather, and I am one of your applicants for the vacant board seat. I'm introducing myself because I'm not only new to Gardner, but I'm new to Kansas. As of the end of 2025, I moved here from Michigan. I have 2 sons attending college, and I have an 8-year-old daughter enrolled at Madison Elementary. And in our short time here, my family has felt extremely welcomed, and we've quickly grown to love the school in this community. I'm seeking to serve on the Board of Education because I believe strongly in putting students first while supporting the staff and families who make our students successful. My priorities would be student success and safety, staff support, and responsible stewardship of district resources through thoughtful and transparent decision-making. I bring fresh ideas as a newcomer, the experiences of a seasoned parent of 19 years, and compassion and empathy for students going through life in our current times as somebody who was involved in a school shooting as a 13-year-old student in rural Michigan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Heather. That'll bring us to 6.1, grants and donations, presented by Heath Freeman.
Thank you. We have a list this week to share of some generous donations made to the district. To Moonlight Elementary from Catalyst Chiropractic, they donated some staff Christmas treats for each of the staff members. Also at Moonlight, Design Co. Salon donated candy and coupons for staff for the treats. Moonlight, once again, the Fisher family helped take care of some unpaid meal account balances. At Gardner Elementary, we had an anonymous donor donate to the Counselor's Care Fund for $100. And finally, at Sunflower, another anonymous donation to cover $61.40 in negative meal accounts. We certainly appreciate those generous donations to our district.
Thank you, Heath, and thank you to the donors. That will bring us to 7, consent agenda. 7.1, minutes of the regular meeting held on December 8th, 2025. 7.2, financial statements, treasurer's report. 7.3, GEHS course fee schedule. 7.4, approval of contracts and purchases. 7.5, BOE committee information structure for 2026. And 7.6, approval of claims.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Jeff, are you still on? All right, that passed. Nothing for 8. 9, reports and department presentations. Superintendent, Dr. Brian Huff, for 9.1.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for coming tonight. A few thanks to start off with. Congratulations to Heath and Tom for the guiding leadership that you're going to provide us. I really appreciate you stepping up and being willing to do such a thing. And also thanks to Julie Aldrich. Welcome. It's good to have you here. I hope you have a good time being a board member here. We appreciate all the work that our board does. And to that effect, it's Board Appreciation Month. And so you have some goodies here, as our small token. You've heard me say before that it is a very difficult position that tends to be rather thankless. And I appreciate the time and effort that you all are putting into guiding our kids, guiding our staff, guiding me, and providing the very best education possible for our community. Our community has a lot to be very proud of, and this board guides a lot of that, so thank you very much. We also had a Horizon Award winner that we recognized and will recognize officially next month, Caitlin Whitley, over at Wheat Ridge Middle School. So that's really exciting, and we'll have a formal celebration with her later about that. Spelling Bee, well done. Christy Witter sitting here, as well as Paulette. Ton of work. I hear Jason did quite a bit of work over the weekend as well. Anybody else I need to be pointing out? There you go. Amazing spellers as well. And it really highlights, again, our emphasis on basic skills for our kiddos. So this is something that we hold dear to our heart, and spelling bee was certainly part of that. So that's my comments for tonight. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Huff. That'll bring us to 9.2, comments by Board of Education. I was going to talk about the spelling bee. A few weeks ago, Dr. Huff and I had the privilege of going to Nike Elementary to judge their spelling bee. And it was neat seeing these are the youngest in the competition, the 3rd and 4th graders, and getting up and spouting out some of these words, and the courage they had to stand up in front of us and doing that was impressive. So then Saturday, I got to go spend part of my morning at the high school. Our district hosted the event for the countywide spelling bee, and I got to go and watch a portion of it. And some of these words in round 1 that the kids were getting, I may have been put out at round 1. I don't know. It was tough. But again, it was impressive seeing these kids get up there with confidence and just spout them out. And that's all I have.
Well, I wanted to echo and welcome Julie. Congratulations and thank you, and look forward to serving with you over the next few years. I just had 2 quick notes. Exciting for our GEHS actors to start their semester off. They've had this weekend in Wichita at the Kansas Thespians Festival, and a couple of our performers came home with awards and recognition. I don't quite understand how the levels and things work, but I saw medals, which is a great thing, but an exciting trip for them, and what they do in that department and the productions they're able to put on is great. So it was exciting to see that. And then also I did want to take a note. They don't get recognized often of our athletic training staff. Some of you may have been at Friday night's basketball game. Unfortunately, there was an injury that was one of the ones you hate to see, and our training staff, Kat, was right on top of it, right out of the chute, understood that it was too big for the room and asked for assistance from 911 right away. But in the meantime, did everything that she could, along with some student helpers, to keep our players safe, keep them calm, and try to ease the tension of that room. So I just wanted to take time to thank them for those times where they're needed the most, but it goes unspoken. And wish the very best to that player in recovery, and know that he'll get back on the court just as soon as he can.
All right. We'll move on to 10.1, informational bond update presentation by Shelley Ulmer with DLR.
Good evening. I'd like to invite Shelley from DLR and Branson from Newkirk Novak to come up. We're pleased to give the board and the public an update on our bond projects. Mother Nature's been quite cooperative, so we've made a lot of progress. And I would encourage the community, obviously you can follow the stuff that's coming up out of the ground, but you can also follow the progress on our website as well. So I'll turn this over to Shelley and Branson. Thanks for coming, guys.
So I believe that Branson's slides come up first because he's going to talk more about what is under construction first, and then we'll go to, I'm from DLR Group, the design firm working on some of the projects, and I'll talk about what's on the drawing boards. So I'll move this back up for your staff.
Yeah, thank you. Hey everyone, I'm Branson Coker. I'm a project manager with Newkirk Novak. Wanted to take just a little bit of time to give you guys an update on kind of where we've been on the couple projects we've started, what's going on right now, and what'll be kind of coming down the pike here over the next couple months. And we'll continue to kind of give you guys updates as we move forward. So had our groundbreaking a couple months ago, really great event with a lot of people there. Kind of talking about the Gardner Elementary project. So what's going on out there right now? So had a lot of earthwork activities over the last couple months, getting what we call the building pad in place. We've started footings to kind of echo Jody. Weather's been super great, which is often not the case at this time of year. So footings going in, underground plumbing and underground electrical is going also. And then kind of continuing some other earthwork activities on the perimeter of the building as we continue through the building pad. A few pictures up here kind of representing some of those items. this is kind of a map of where we're at right now to try to give you an idea with foundations. It kind of all starts with the foundations, and then you'll start seeing it build up from there. So the green is what we've done. Red is what we're working on this week, and we'll be pretty close here over the next about 2.5 weeks to be done with the foundation system on the project. Kind of talking about what we'll be doing over the next couple months. So here at the beginning of February, you're going to start seeing some masonry walls being installed. That's the primary structure of the elementary building. We'll start pouring some slabs on grade, starting with the gymnasium and kind of working our way north to south on that building. As we get kind of through February into March, will be masonry activities, pretty hot and heavy, and then we'll get into steel kind of at that back half of March. So, you know, I know the last couple months, there's a lot of things going on, but you don't see a lot of things going on vertically. But here over the next couple months, and when we talk to you guys next, you'll start seeing some stuff rising up out of the ground. We'll also start doing some underground items like utility work and that type of stuff over the next couple of months. And then kind of big picture, we are still on track, kind of wrapping our elementary work up in the spring of 27. So you guys can open that up for the fall of 27. Switching gears just a little bit, the other big project that we broke ground at the same time was the service center. Similarly, got a really good start on this one. Our team's been doing great on that one. We're actually a couple weeks ahead of schedule with all of the luck with the weather. Great subcontractors that we have out there as well. So most of our earthwork, rough grading activities are complete. The building pad is in place. And then actually today, they started foundations out there. So started excavating for our footings there, installing rebar. And really on this service center, everything's kind of shaped around getting the building coming vertical. So that building, the steel, will be coming in the back half of March. That'll go up and it'll really take shape really quickly after that. We'll also be doing some site utility activities and some other kind of miscellaneous things like that here over the next couple months. So here's kind of a picture that DLR provided us of kind of what this service center will look like. And then on track to complete that one in fall of 2026. So that's kind of the update for construction. I'll give it over to Shelley to talk on things coming down the pike. So.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm with DLR Group, the architecture firm. I'm project managing the projects as they come out. This is fun to see. We have two projects on the drawing board right now. Both are at the high school, the existing high school. So we are looking at doing a renovation of the kitchen, the existing kitchen, servery, and doing a refresh of all the finishes in the common area, which is used as the cafeteria. So give you a little bit of insight into what that'll look like on the next slides, but we're going to hit some milestones here soon. We're looking at doing some early procurement of the kitchen equipment because that's hard to get in time for summer construction. So we're putting together different packages and being creative about how we're delivering this project in order to get all the materials on site to get it ready for school starting next year. So this is one of the design renderings. We call these renderings. They're basically based off of a model that we put together in the computer, sort of to give everybody an idea of what it might look like if we use these colors, and we can change these up, and we like to get feedback when we're in our design meeting. So this is the latest for that refresh of that common area, that circular area right when you're in the high school. So all new finishes, and this is looking up at the ceiling with what I think a super cool ceiling that looks like wood with logo and some new lighting just to give it some pizzazz. And then the other project that we're working on is for the Trails building, the existing Trails building that it's on the high school site, but it's a detached building. Small building right now. We're expanding it for more classrooms. Guess I should talk a little bit about the milestones for this one are trailing behind. I didn't mean to make that pun, but I did. So they are a little bit behind the high school renovation in the kitchen, just because of the we're going to build a new extension of this building. It takes a little more work, and so this particular project won't be ready until during the winter break of next year, or of this year, next year. So that's what this is looking like. So the existing part of the building is outlined with no highlight, and then the highlighted blue is the addition. So the addition is quite large compared to the existing building, giving it a lot more room and classroom space. We're also expanding the parking so that there's plenty of parking for anybody who is coming to take classes and staff. And that's it. That's what's on the drawing boards from now. It's been fun.
Not sure if anybody has questions for these folks on these bigger projects. I would also jump in and say playgrounds, elementary, middle school playground renovations are on track. We've ordered all the equipment. Mark and I are working with the provider there to get the schedule laid out, and so that work will be done over the summer. And then I'd just take a moment to thank these guys. They've been great partners, but it is important to remember that Mark DeWitt is doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. There's a lot of moving parts to all these projects, include working with the city and other things. And so Mark and Bobby in particular are really providing a lot of support as well. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That will bring us to 10.2, update regarding the selection of the ELA curriculum resource by Dr. Booth and Dr. Jones.
All right, good evening, board members. I want to start off by sharing with you how hard this group has worked and how proud of them you should be in regards to creation of common curriculum. You've seen that work in process, and now they're bringing to you a recommendation for an ELA resource. And if you recall, when we wrote our curriculum, we really started by defining our process, and then we had a product. This one, we started out with a goal of selecting materials, but through that, they have created a process that we'll be able to replicate with all other subjects, and they've done it so well that I strongly believe other districts will be following our footsteps as it relates to this work too. So can't thank them enough. Also, I'm going to take a second though. Lori Stratton, Miss Stratton, needs to be congratulated because she earned quite a while ago her national board certification through the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards, and she has just renewed or maintained that. Correct? So that is a huge accomplishment. And we certainly don't want to miss anybody, but did we double check? Well, we think Miss Stratton is the only employee in our district that is nationally certified. So that says a lot about her work. So yeah.
Well, good evening. I get the honor of coming back before you today and just setting the groundwork for the ladies that are going to be stepping up to the microphone, because this has been a labor of love. Each of these individuals is very dedicated to their craft and to their students. And so I'm going to set the stage for our clarity statements today. Truly, right now, the learning intention for you is to understand the process that we use to make this recommendation for you today, the data that we've selected, the number of people that have been involved from the beginning, and that this is a overview of everything that has happened over the past three to 4 months, roughly. And lastly, your success criteria is having the information that you need in front of you, an opportunity to ask clarifying questions as well, because next month you will be acting upon the recommendation for new instructional resource materials for kindergarten through 12th grade. So we've shared previously, we were using your procedures for the selection of instructional materials, paired that with a timeline, and our work was divided into 3 phases: plan, study, and act. And I'm going to turn it over to our experts who are with me today.
Hello, my name is Beth Barrett. I'm a 2nd grade teacher at Gardner Elementary. I was representing Gardner Elementary in the 1st and 2nd grade bands, and I was also a curriculum writer, so I was very excited to be on this team. The plan part of the process is we kind of refer to it as our calibration process. We spent a lot of time meeting together as elementary teachers, middle and high school separately, but also collectively together. And we learned a lot about structured literacy, science of reading, so that way we had that lens to look at curriculum through. It was really amazing to be able to spend time talking with each other, realizing that as an elementary teacher, I have been very lucky. I have access to the science of reading and letters training, and I've been very lucky to get those things where the middle and high school maybe hasn't been as easy for them, and they really enjoyed getting that training. And I know the high school even talked about possibly trying to get more PD around it, but it really gave us a good sense of exactly what we wanted in a curriculum, spending time with KSDE documents, dyslexia handbook, and even getting examples of what it looks like across all levels. We also continued on by collecting feedback from all of our staff. As representatives, we were asked to ask our fellow teachers and educators questions of what they would like to see, what our needs are, and then we brought that back and we talked as a grade level team of what those commonalities are, what were the common themes, what are things that teachers really need and want in a curriculum. And with that, we were able to build this What Matters Most framework. We spent a lot of time going through all of those needs that teachers have around the questions. The first question that we really talked about was, what do we want students to know and be able to do as readers and writers? So we went through that, collected information, saw the commonalities across all of it, and we were able to come to a consensus on the important things that we want our students to know. And the second question was, what do we need from instructional materials to achieve the desired student outcomes noted in the above question? And so we were able to come across that there were certain things that we really wanted. Especially, we talked about teacher tools, resources that support a teacher's planning and instruction. We wanted embedded resources and support for student learning. We wanted quality reading instruction and really quality writing instruction.
Hello, I am Jill Dodge. I'm the librarian at Grand Star. So all of those delightful children, oh my goodness, I felt so lucky that I got to be here on their night and get to celebrate with them. So that was awesome. I am going to talk a little bit more about what Beth spoke to. I know for me, I was very excited to be on this committee, and that first day, ready to talk about maybe what materials we were going to look at, and then finding out, no, we have so much work to do ahead of time, and that work I cannot express enough. The value of those coming up with common themes, having a shared idea of what structured literacy and science of reading means. So the value of that was immeasurable throughout the whole process. So much teacher feedback during that process. There were surveys for teachers, there were informal discussions that we had with teachers, emails with teachers, all of that was put into this step. So that phase 2, when we started this study, this is, you can see us, look how we're much more excited than we look. This was the day that we got to see those materials and start looking through them. And then with our common knowledge of what we were really assessing, we had our What Matters Most document, but that what teachers really needed, what students really needed, as well as we used ed reports, which I had never used before, and it was very valuable. It is an independent resource. It's not being bought by some publishing company. And so the rubrics that we were able to provide, evidence base, the standards alignment, all of that was part of this process. It was very detailed, but because of all of our work, we were able to dive right in on this day. Very, very important. Initially, we obviously wanted every teacher to have an opportunity to view the materials once we had taken it from 4 materials to 2, and each grade level did that on that previous day. Each school was only supposed to have the materials for a half of a day. That's how the schedule was supposed to work. But with teacher feedback, we realized, and Dr. Jones realized, that they really needed every school to have it for a whole day to align with teacher plan time so that every teacher had access. Teachers then, after previewing it, were again able to provide feedback, and all of that was taken into consideration during the next steps.
Hello, I am Lorette McKetty, and I teach 8th grade at Pioneer Ridge. I represented the 7th and 8th grade band on the committee. So the next step for us was to hear the presentations from the publishers. That was fascinating, how it looks different when it's presented to you than if as you're just going through. So I felt that it was very valuable that we had both opportunities. After each presentation, we debriefed all together using a really structured process. Everybody was able to voice their thoughts and their concerns. We also discussed any lingering questions that we had, got those back to the publisher, and got answers to those. This was on December 10th and 11th. On that day, on those days, the high school came to a consensus. They had a great program that they really liked. Elementary and middle school did not come to a consensus on that. On those days, we just felt like there was way too many questions that we didn't have answered. Some of the materials didn't seem as up to date as we wanted them to be. So at that point, we asked if we could see discuss the importance of vertical alignment, either going with the elementary school with the middle school or the middle school with the high school. So we asked if we could see presentations from those publishers. And that also would give continuity across the grade levels, best for students, all of that. We requested to preview the elementary options and my perspectives, the grades 6 through 8. We also requested to have more members added to the committee. We had a few of us on there, especially middle school, and it just felt like such a heavy responsibility to make that choice. So we asked if we could have more voices on that, which really helped. The follow-up presentations happened on December 16th and 17th. Getting close to Christmas, but it worked. On these slides, you can see the committee members hard at work. We had lots of opportunities to discuss together, to make sure that we all had our voice. We used a one word, one phrase, one sentence structure that I loved. And then this was also just a very effective way to make sure that everybody on the committee had an opportunity to speak concerns and positives. On December 16th and 17th, we got together with the new, the whole committee, the expanded committee. Everyone was brought up to speed, and then we saw more presentations, immediately debriefing again after that, using that structured strategy, which I tend to forget things quickly, so I was very thankful it happened immediately after and I could recall everything. And then at the end of the day, we were taught a last word and considerations protocol. And this gave us an opportunity to put people on a timer in small groups, and everybody could express exactly what they were thinking, where they were at. And then we came up individually with a last word and then compiled that together. And we made sure that we were all on the same page when we made our decisions.
Hi, Lori Stratton, and teach at the high school English, and I represent the 11th and 12th grade band. So before we made our decision, one of the things that I think is important to think about is we were very, very careful to make sure it was a really rigorous process, and we had rigorous standards. So one of the things before we even considered materials is that they would have 3 green ratings on Ed Reports. We looked at the Reading League curriculum reviews, and we got information from other Johnson County districts. So after we did that, we took into consideration the vendors and their demonstrations, and we really, really used that what matters most tool. So it was a very well thought out process. Like we have talked about, on January 5th, the middle and elementary representatives really reviewed it and came up with what their recommendation was for the instructional resource. And we, the high school, we had already come to a consensus on the recommendation in December. So I think it's fair, the middle bullet, if you're looking at your slides, I think it's very fair that the team agreed the process has been very intentional, transparent, and communicative. I've been around the block a little bit, and I've been on other materials committees and selecting materials. I have never been involved in anything that has been this thorough before. So I was very impressed with all of that. So our recommendation is for grades K through 5, they are recommending the Amplify CKL, and it is on display out in the hall for anybody who wants to see it, and you can see the costs there. Grades 6 through 12, we are recommending Savas, My Perspectives, and you can see the estimated total. The next step, assuming that this is approved by the board, the next step would be for us to take all the specific feedback that we developed through this process and through our colleagues and the concerns, and bring that into part of our professional development plan for implementing the use of these materials. So we are planning to have a PD session introducing the use of these materials on the full day PD on April 27th.
Which leads me back up to the microphone. So as I'm sure you can tell, there was a lot of intentionality, and I think these representatives, but collectively just know that there's many more standing in classrooms every day, whether they're on the selection committee or not, that we could not be where we are today without the feedback they gave. So I just go back to our last check mark here, which is our success criteria, is to making sure that you have questions that answered today that you need, so that next month you would be able to vote following their recommendation. But again, we really wanted to stress for you today the intentionality behind the process that we use, multiple facets that we use to gather input, use resources at our disposal through neighboring districts, but also through KSDE and independent rating organizations to make this recommendation to you of My Perspectives for grades 6 through 12, as well as CKLA, which stands for Core Core Knowledge and Language Arts. That one always stumps me up there for our grades K through 5. But we would entertain any questions that you may have at this time.
So I have a comment. First off, to our teacher representatives, fantastic job. And I'll reiterate what Jason said, and that there is a huge throng of people behind you, I know, helping with this decision. And please don't feel like it's a weight on your shoulders, although it is. It's a big decision. I want to also remind folks who might be listening, or whoever watches this, or to the board as well, that the process we did started really a couple of years ago when we started writing curriculum. And we go through a very methodical process of first writing the curriculum, deciding what the state standards are and how we can prioritize those state standards, and then writing the curriculum based on what our own district needs are. And then we go out and find a resource to support that. I think people oftentimes that aren't in education get that backwards, thinking you start with a textbook, or they'll even call the textbook the curriculum. It's not the curriculum. It's a resource that supports the curriculum. The curriculum is very specifically written for our district based on the state standards and what's necessary for our kiddos. So thank you very much for walking through this process. Thanks to Jason and the rest of the Ed Services team, because this is incredible. This is how we want to operate. And you all said this is an amazing process. It is intentional. And I hope also that folks might get a grasp as to why we are not doing more than we are. And in my history, I am used to only doing an adoption like a K-6 adoption. To do it K-12 is enormous. And you guys have a lot of props. A lot of big props to you for doing such great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jones, and thank you to all the staff that put in all the work. (11.1) Board of Education open seat, District 3, Seat 6. This is open for discussion of how we're going to advance with the process. We have 17, I believe, applicants that met the criteria to be on the list. We just have to talk and decide how we're going to pare it down and move forward. So I will open that up for discussion.
There were, I spoke to you a little bit before we started and was trying to think of a good way that we could get a good number of applicants to interview. I was thinking that we could pick, like, each of us pick our top 5. You know how when we did the KASB retreat, I think Britton was his name. He had us like write down our top 5 goals and priorities and then hand them in, and then we like tallied up which ones everybody had the most similar priorities to. I'm sure I could explain that in a more eloquent way. I was thinking that would be a good way to get like a good number of people to interview, and also we could all write down our top 5, have Dr. Huff tally them up and say, hey, here's our, or have Deb tally them up. I nominate Dr. Huff.
There you go.
And you know, say here's the top 5 that got the most tallies. Let's bring them in to interview.
And
I don't
maybe
know what
even
your
just
thoughts are on
and
that.
maybe even just in addition to that, maybe you could rank them. And then we could take, if you're number 1, they get 5 points. Number 2 gets.
Yeah, like a rubric of some kind would be
Right.
really helpful.
Right.
I looked through all of these and I kept having to go back and look and go back and look because I couldn't remember who wrote what, like if we had a rubric of some kind where we could like, you know, this person got 5 stars, this person got a smiley face. I don't know. Just something to keep track and something to help us, you know, maybe that would save us a lot of time as well in figuring out who we want to bring in to interview. I don't know anybody else's thoughts.
I tend to agree. I'll only speak for myself, but I don't think I'll be alone. 17 was much more than I think any of us would have anticipated. But so I do think for the next phase, we need to find a way to pare it down to what we consider to be the top candidates as a consensus. I think 5 is the right number for that. And how we get to that, a rubric break system, I think sounds like a good way to do so after everyone's had the chance to really thoroughly review every application. I'm sure we've all had a chance to look at them, but it's only been a couple days since we've had them all in the deadline, so we need a little bit more time and then finalize that for the next steps. I think Katie's right on with maybe how we get to it.
Ben, do you want to make us a rubric? Thank you.
I think it's a good idea. Everybody pick their top 5 and submit them.
So at our February board meeting, we all bring the 5 and.
So I think before that, and Ben and I can collaborate on this. I think we can get you guys a rubric maybe later this week that you guys can use. Now, what you'll have to do though is just trust us because we really can't go back and forth on it because then it creates a meeting. But we can just give it to you that you guys complete, and then you come up with your top 5 scores. And so maybe we can say that, I'm looking at Deb, the Monday before the board meeting, it would give you time to be able to put everything together so we can have it actually in the agenda. All right, so now the next question would be, do you all want to interview at that meeting in February? So we can go ahead and invite the people that Monday, and they can come. Or do you want to work on questions at the February board meeting?
I think that might be the best thing to do. And also, if there isn't a clear consensus with the 5, there may be a little bit of finalizing that goes in at that February meeting of who those 5 are. We may not quite get to 5 clear between 6 unique opinions. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So that's plan.
Does that sound good?
Sounds good
Lena?
to me.
Tom?
That was quick and easy.
Julie?
Great.
All right, that'll bring us to 11.2, executive session for negotiations.
5 minutes?
Yeah, you've got a dark brown folder over there somewhere. It's written out for you. So how
Yeah,
long
and then
does she need?
5 minutes.
Sorry about that, you guys. Motion to go into executive session to discuss the board's professional negotiation priorities and parameters with its chief negotiators pursuant to the exception for employer-employee negotiations under coma, and the open meeting will resume in the boardroom at 7:15 PM.
I'll second.
The board would like to invite Dr. Huff, Dr. Marshall, Dr. Booth, Mark Meyer, and Amy Drogemeyer into executive session. Sorry. I took
Now
over.
I second.
Jeff never joined back, did he?
All right, we're back in session and on to 11.3, executive session for personnel.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss the Human Resources Personnel Report pursuant to non-elected personnel exception under coma. And the open meeting will resume in the boardroom at, how much time do we need? 20 minutes. 7:35 PM. The board would like to invite Dr. Huff, Dr. Marshall, Dr. Booth, Heather Peak, and Mark Meyer into executive session.
All right, we're back in session and on to 11.4, action on personnel.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the personnel as provided.
I'll second.
Oh, no, it was Lana.
All right, 11.5, executive session for superintendent's evaluation. 10 minutes?
I think that sounds good.
All right. Motion to go into executive session to discuss the superintendent's personnel evaluation pursuant to confidential personnel exceptions under COMA, and the open meeting will resume in the boardroom at
7.
Huh?
7.
Oh, 7:50. The board would like to invite Dr. Booth, Dr. Marshall, and Dr. Huff into executive session.
back in session and on to 12.1, adjournment of meeting.
Make a motion.
I'll second. I need to figure out, oh.
All right, the next BOE meeting for budget and negotiations will be held on Monday, January 26th, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in the board office. The next regularly scheduled board meeting of education will be held on Monday, February 9th, 2026 at 6 p.m.
Thanks.